Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Please note that this AI-generated podcast is intended solely for general learning and educational purposes. While we strive to ensure accuracy, the AI may occasionally produce errors or incomplete information. We strongly encourage you to consult qualified professionals and conduct your own due diligence before making any legal, financial, or business decisions based on the content presented here. Also, if you find this content valuable, we kindly request you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to receive updates on future episodes. Let's begin.
Welcome to The Deep Dive, your shortcut to being seriously well-informed. Today, we're tackling something that lots of innovators find a bit daunting, patent applications right here in India. But trust us, it's absolutely vital if you're building something new. We're here to sort of demystify it for you. So if you're a startup founder, maybe an MSME manager, or, just someone with a brilliant idea, this deep dive is specifically for you. We've gone through a whole stack of sources, from comprehensive guides to the very latest amendments, all curated with innovators like you in mind, especially those who might be new to this, well, let's face it, complex, but incredibly crucial process. Our mission today: cut through the jargon, streamline the steps, and give you the core knowledge you need, not just to understand, but to really leverage intellectual property protection.
And that word leverage, that's really key here. You should think of a patent not just as like a legal shield, but more as a strategic asset. For a startup or an MSME, it's not just about stopping direct copies. It's actually a magnet for investors. Investors look for tangible intellectual property. It's also a strong negotiating chip for partnerships. And it can even be a potential revenue stream through licensing. I mean, just imagine the power you gain when you hold exclusive rights to a breakthrough invention. That's the real game changer. It can secure your competitive edge in the market for, well, up to 20 years. And this entire system, just so everyone knows, it's rooted in the Patents Act of 1970 and the Patents Rules 2003.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this a bit more for our audience. So why exactly should a startup founder or maybe that MSME manager really care about getting a patent in India? What's the fundamental importance here, maybe beyond just protecting the idea itself?
Well, the core value is incredibly powerful. A patent grants you exclusive rights. Basically, this means you alone can stop others from making, using, selling, or importing your invention without your explicit say-so. Now, for new businesses, for smaller enterprises, this exclusivity, it's more than just a legal formality. It gives you this vital shield for your unique solutions. It lets you innovate, lets you invest in R&D, and grow your business. Without that immediate fear of being undercut by imitators just jumping on your idea. It genuinely allows you to carve out your own space in the market. What's also quite interesting here is how the Indian patent system is actually structured. It's set up to support different kinds of innovators. It specifically recognizes various applicant types. You've got individuals, startups, small entities, educational institutions, and then the large entities. And this isn't just like bureaucratic box ticking. It's a deliberate design to promote accessibility. For instance, under initiatives like the Startup India campaign, startups and small entities, well, they're eligible for special provisions.
Things like a cost structure designed to encourage their innovation journey. That's a pretty significant advantage, right?
Yeah, that's a huge point about accessibility, definitely. So, okay, let's say I'm that founder. I've got a prototype. I really believe this could be the next big thing. My gut tells me I need to protect it, but honestly, where do I even begin? Is there like a crucial first step people often miss? And realistically, what kind of timeline are we looking at for this whole thing, from that initial spark to actually having a granted patent?
That's a brilliant question. And it really speaks to the very first hurdle many innovators face. The entire process, from your initial application filing all the way to the final grant of the patent. It typically takes anywhere from, say, 3 to 5 years.
Wow, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it is a complex journey, and it's certainly a marathon, not a sprint. But the good news is recent updates to the rules are specifically aimed at streamlining it, making it a bit more efficient for innovators like you.
3 to 5 years. That's quite a commitment, especially for a fast-moving startup. It sounds like patience isn't just a virtue here, it's like a necessity. So to break it down for someone totally new to this, what's the crucial preparation like before you even think about filing?
Absolutely. Planning ahead is paramount. The very first step, and honestly one that often gets underestimated, is invention disclosure preparation. This means meticulously documenting your invention. Think of it like creating a super detailed blueprint for a new building. You'll want sketches, diagrams, a clear outline of the problem your invention solves, how it solves it, all its essential components, functionalities, get it all down. And it's also incredibly wise to sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, before you share your ideas with anyone outside your immediate trusted team.
Right, NDAs. Got it.
They're your critical first line of defense, protecting that confidentiality. Okay, so after documenting everything comes the novelty search. Now, this step is technically optional, but look, for any serious innovator, we really can't recommend it enough.
Why is that so important?
Well, a novelty search involves checking against what's called prior art. Imagine you're inventing, say, a new type of smart coffee machine. Prior art would be everything publicly known about coffee machines already. Every existing patent, every published design, even old articles about similar tech. You're basically checking if your invention is genuinely new or if something similar is already out there in the public domain. Doing this early helps you assess, the patentability of your invention before you sink significant time and resources into the full application. It could save you a lot of heartache and money down the line. So once you're confident in your invention's novelty and you've decided, okay, let's go for it, it's time for drafting the application. This is what we call a techno-legal document. It's a fascinating blend, really. Deep technical detail meets precise legal language.
Techno-legal, okay.
Oh.
Sounds serious.
It has to be incredibly precise. It includes the title, a brief abstract summarizing it, a detailed description how it works, and most importantly, the claims. The claims are truly the heart of your patent. Think of them as the exact fence posts that legally define the boundaries of your protection. They spell out what others cannot do.
So the claims define the scope.
Exactly. You'll also include drawings if they help illustrate your invention. And honestly, this stage is where working with experienced patent agents really pays off. They know how to draft claims to offer the broadest possible protection. With that complex draft ready, you move to filing the application. This is when you submit all your documents to the Indian Patent Office. You can do this electronically, which is common now, or physically. You'll be working with a few key forms, basically the official paperwork. They tell the Patent Office who you are, what your invention is, that detailed specification, and who actually invented it. Don't worry too much about the form numbers now. Your agent handles that. But it's good to know the categories. And like we said earlier, your applicant type, individual, startup, large entity that influences the cost structure.
Okay, so the paperwork's in. You've officially planted your flag, so to speak. Now, is it just a waiting game? Like set it and forget it, wait for news, or is there more happening once you've filed?
Oh, definitely not set it and forget it. Once filed, your application moves into an automatic publication phase. This usually happens 18 months from your filing date, or the priority date if you claimed one earlier. At this point, your application becomes publicly accessible. Anyone can see it.
Publicly accessible, okay.
Yeah. And there's also an option for early publication, if, maybe for strategic reasons, you want it out there sooner.
So once it's published, it's out there. Does that automatically mean the Patent Office starts reviewing it then? Or is there another step, something that might surprise people?
Ah, that's a great point, and it often catches people out. Publication doesn't automatically trigger the examination. You must formally request for examination, or RFE, to actually move the process forward. You have to ask them to look at it.
You have to ask.
Yes. And here's where a really significant 2024 amendment comes in. Pay attention here. The timeline for requesting examination has been reduced. It's now within 31 months from your priority date.
31 months. That's faster than before.
Yes. It's a notable change from the previous timeline. It really emphasizes the need for timely action. For a fast-moving startup, this shorter timeline can be a real advantage. Plus, for startups and women applicants, there's an option for expedited examination, which can seriously speed things up, sometimes cutting years off the wait time.
Wow. Expedited. That sounds great for startups.
Absolutely. Faster patent means faster market exclusivity, quicker investor confidence, potentially a quicker path to making money from it.
That is a massive advantage. Okay, so you've requested examination. The Patent Office starts looking. What if they have questions or concerns? Because I imagine it's rarely just a smooth ride to approval, right?
You're absolutely right. It almost never is. The Patent Office will issue what's called a First Examination Report, or FAR. This FAR basically outlines any objections they have to your application. So imagine getting this report back. It can be quite a thick document, full of questions or objections.
Okay, so don't panic if you get one.
Exactly. Don't be disheartened. It's incredibly common. It actually shows the process is working. They're doing their due diligence. Your job then is to carefully analyze these objections and prepare a detailed response. You typically have 6 months to submit this. Sometimes you might need hearings, which can be done physically, or more commonly now, via video conference to clarify points or resolve tricky issues. It's a bit of a strategic dance, really, addressing their concerns while trying to maintain the broadest possible protection for your invention. And then finally, if all the objections are successfully resolved and the patent office is satisfied, you reach the grant of patent. Your patent gets officially noted in the patent journal, and boom, you receive a certificate confirming your exclusive rights. It's a huge milestone.
Okay, that standard process makes sense now, step by step. But are there different, let's say, flavors of patent applications, things startups and MSMEs should know about? Does one size fit all here?
That's a great question. And no, one size definitely doesn't fit all in the patent world. For most innovators, especially startups, the most relevant types are what we call ordinary applications. Within this category, you have two main subtypes: provisional applications and complete applications. Provisional applications.
Yeah.
These are incredibly useful if your invention is still, evolving or undergoing development.
How so?
Well, they let you secure an early priority date, basically marking your spot in the queue, and they give you a full 12 months to file the complete specification with all the nitty-gritty details. That flexibility can be absolutely critical for startups, especially in fast-moving tech fields.
Okay, so provisional gives you breathing room.
Exactly. Then we should probably briefly mention convention applications. These are crucial if you've already filed your patent in another country as it's part of an international agreement, and now you want to get an Indian patent based on that earliest foreign filing date. And for those truly globally minded startups, there are PCT national phase applications. PCT stands for Patent Cooperation Treaty. This is your pathway for international filings, basically streamlining the process of seeking protection in multiple countries simultaneously. Key for those thinking beyond just the Indian market from day one.
All right, that patent grant. It sounds like a monumental hurdle cleared. Big relief. But, in the startup world, resources are always tight. Does this victory lap come with significant ongoing obligations? Things a founder needs to budget for, time and money-wise, even after the patent is granted?
An excellent and very practical point. It's definitely not the end of the story. It's more like the beginning of a new phase, really. There are crucial post-grant procedures to keep that patent alive and effective. The most important one is renewal. Patents aren't a one-time thing. They require annual renewal fees starting from the third year to maintain their validity.
Annual fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's important to budget for this. But there are discounts available, especially if you pay electronically and pay in advance for multiple years, say 4 or more at once. Another key requirement is submitting working statements. These need to be filed every 3 years.
Working statement, what are they?
They basically detail how your invention is being commercially worked or used in India. Or, if it isn't being worked, you need to explain why not. This ensures that patents are actually contributing to innovation and the economy, and not just, sitting on a shelf unused. And finally, and this is where the real power comes in, a granted patent gives you the right of enforcement. You gain the legal right to stop anyone from unauthorized use of your invention. If someone infringes on your patent rights, you have the option to file infringement suits in court. You can seek injunctions, which means stopping the infringing activity, or even claim monetary damages for the harm caused by the unauthorized use. This is your ultimate tool for protecting what's yours.
This all sounds like it's a continually evolving landscape, especially with those amendments you mentioned. So what's specifically new in 2024 that directly impacts startups and MSMEs? Are there any changes that make this process, easier or more favorable for them right now?
Absolutely. The 2024 amendments to the Indian patent rules brought in several quite significant changes. They're really designed to streamline procedures and further support innovation, especially for smaller players. As we touched on, that timeline for requesting examination, the RFE, was significantly reduced to 31 months. That really speeds up the whole process. There's also been some simplified compliance for certain disclosures, making the paperwork hopefully a bit less cumbersome. Another nice update is that 10% discount on renewal fees if you pay electronically and in advance for 4 or more years. That's a good incentive for long-term planning, helps with cash flow.
A 10% discount. Nice.
Yeah. And for those moments when things just go unexpectedly wrong, the controller now has the ability to forgive delays up to 6 months in certain specific situations. It offers a bit more flexibility, a kind of safety net for genuine slip-ups or oversights. These changes really aim to make the patent landscape more responsive and supportive for innovators.
Okay, so given all these complexities, the timelines, the updates, what are the common pitfalls? The traps that founders and managers should really watch out for? And maybe more importantly, what are the absolute best practices for a startup or MSME to maximize their chances of success, to really make this patent journey a strategic asset?
It's true. There are definitely traps to avoid, and yeah, they can be costly. Common pitfalls often include inadequate disclosure in the patent application itself, meaning you haven't provided enough technical detail.
Not enough detail.
Right, enough for someone skilled in that field to actually replicate your invention based on your description. That's a big one. Another critical mistake is drafting the claims poorly, either making them too broad so they get rejected as unpatentable, or making them too narrow.
Too narrow. How's that bad?
Well, if they're too narrow, it severely limits your protection. Competitors might easily design around your patent without actually infringing, and of course, missing critical deadlines.
Yeah.
Like that crucial 31-month RFE timeline we talked about. Missing that can just completely derail your application. As for best practices, look, I cannot emphasize this enough. Strongly consider working with an experienced patent agent. Seriously.
Get professional help.
Absolutely. They navigate the intricate legal and technical stuff, help you avoid those common pitfalls by drafting robust claims. They ensure timely responses to the Patent Office actions and generally guide you through the whole maze. It saves immense time and potential headaches. Also, leveraging electronic filing for everything is a best practice now. It's efficient, and as we saw, can even have fee advantages for things like renewals.
Okay. So let's bring it all together. What does this all mean for you, the listener? That innovative founder or manager out there building the next big thing, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this?
Well, it means that while, yes, the patent process in India is detailed, and it definitely requires commitment, understanding these steps, leveraging the specific benefits available for startups and MSMEs, staying aware of recent updates like the 2024 changes, and crucially, seeking that expert guidance, all this can significantly empower you. This knowledge helps you effectively protect your valuable innovations, and at the end of the day, that fuels your growth and your competitive edge. It really is an investment in your company's future.
Yeah, this deep dive really shows that patents, they aren't just for huge corporations with massive legal teams anymore. They are a powerful, increasingly accessible, and vital tool for every innovator, no matter your size or stage. It's about securing your future, your innovation.
Absolutely. And just think about this. As India's innovation landscape continues to evolve so rapidly, consider how strategically securing your intellectual property today could define your market leadership, not just for the next few years, but potentially for decades to come. So the question really is, what unique solution are you protecting right now, and what future could that invention build?